Hey, welcome to another edition of Local Focus here in the Proview Network studios in Albuquerque. Basketball season is through here on Proview Networks. And we're almost done with basketball season here on Local Focus. Last week, Zach Cole and Adrian Ortega came in and we did a 1-hour edition where we broke down some film and really went inside the 5A championship. We hope you enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun for us to put together, that's for sure. But this week, the champ is here. My guest is Joziah Ramos of those Atrisco Jags. Welcome. It's been, I've been wanting to get you in for a while, but the timing worked out right where we got it right after the championship. But I want to go back a little bit. When did your love of basketball really begin?
For as long as I can remember, I started when I was about 5. My mom said that I always wanted a ball in my hand, so.
And first organized team, when do you remember that?
Bernalillo County, played for the Longhorns, I think.
And at that time, was everyone kind of your size, or what's the size differential then?
No, I've always been small, so I think now I'm just used to it.
Right. And so is that something that happened in your game naturally, or did some coach help you with the fact that, hey, you're always going to have to finish over bigger guys, around bigger guys? Did that happen naturally, or did someone kind of talk to you about that, or how did that happen?
Well, I've been going up against bigger guys since I was little, but I've had a lot of coaches teach me to, float it over the big guys and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of both.
What's the biggest obstacle you had to really overcome in your development as a basketball player? Would you say it's that lack of size, or?
I would say so, because it's very difficult trying to play with these 6'7" guys.
Well, you make a lot of 6'7" guys look pretty silly. So, when did that really start? When did you become such a good finisher around the basket?
Well, my mentality is usually just go to the bucket ever since I was little. So, I never really changed it for anyone. That's just what I knew.
Okay. And some of your teammates you've been playing with for quite a while, right? Mm-hmm. Talk about that.
Dominic Rivas, I've known since 3rd grade, Bernalillo County. We played with the Little Dogs. And then I met Elijah in about 7th grade, Elijah Gaxiola. DJ Ornelas, I played with him since about 4th, 5th grade. DeMarcus Sutphin, about middle school. And we all played on the New Mexico Dogs. So.
Was DeMarcus the same? Was he talking trash in middle school?
He's always been, you know how he is.
Right?
He's always
I want to know
like
when that started.
No,
Can you pinpoint when that started?
When he was born.
When he was born, yeah, probably. So obviously that had to help tremendously with team chemistry, right?
Mm-hmm, of course.
Talk about that, because I know that's something that we talked a lot about. I know I did when I did a lot of Atrisco games. I always tended to talk about your chemistry, that you guys seem to have a certain chemistry and swagger to you guys. Talk about that.
Well, we like each other, and we're always hanging out with each other, whether it's at lunch or out of school. We're always with each other, and I think that helps a lot.
And what does that translate into on the basketball court?
To knowing where people are. We feel comfortable with each other. We know where people are going to hit shots when they need to, and we trust them. And
when you guys play other teams, have you seen a team across the way that you say, okay, yeah, their chemistry is as good as us, or are you guys as good as it gets when it comes to chemistry and team concept there?
Well, there's a lot of other good teams like Volcano. They play real good team basketball. Cleveland is also very good. Rio Rancho, Blaine and David, they have real good chemistry together. So I think there's other teams that have it.
But you guys, I see it a lot when you guys huddle up a lot more than other teams, and you guys do that little Duke thing where you hit the floor. Not a Duke fan here, so, but obviously it's not just for show, right? You guys really do like each other.
Yeah, and in practice we have defense on our shorts, and right before we get ready, we say defense on 3, 1, 2, 3, defense, and we slap the floor.
And are there Duke fans on the team? When did you guys start doing that?
It's Coach Ortega. Ever since I got into the program, that's how it's been.
Talk about Coach. Is Coach, you've played for different coaches, but talk about Coach Ortega.
He's rough, it's hard, but he cares about you. He might not always show it, but he really wants the best in you, and he brings out the best in you in a really difficult way. But he challenges you, and in the long run, it works out.
Do you guys feel an edge mentally with mental toughness? Do you guys feel like you're mentally tougher out there because of what he's done?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we talk about mental toughness throughout the whole season, and I think we've got it.
He told a story on last week's show where earlier in the season in a game where you guys were struggling, where his way to fix that was to tell you to keep shooting and see what happens. And then if the game ends in a loss, which it did, then he could say, see what happens when you just keep shooting. Those are the kind of things he does to develop a team.
Yeah, he proves his point.
Right?
He's always right.
He's always right, huh? So there hasn't been that one time where he tells you something, you're like, see, I got you, Coach. I still got it.
I can throw up a bad shot and it'll go in sometimes. But.
Right, they go in sometimes. Okay. What's the toughest moment you've ever had with Coach where you're like, man, this guy is just too demanding? Has there ever been a time where you've thought maybe this coach is too demanding of me?
Yeah, we've had trouble, but we always fight through it. We always get through it.
So is that part of what makes you guys so good in the fourth quarter? Because I'm 100% convinced that there's just something about Adrian's teams. They're always mentally tough, and they're always not afraid to close games out. Do you think that comes from that development? Talk about that.
Yeah, last year we lost our first game of the season to Volcano. We were up by 5 with about 2 minutes left, and we ended up losing. And from there on, I think I had it in my mind, and I was able to pass it down to the others that if we're up in the fourth quarter with about maybe 5 minutes left, the game should be ours, because we know how to run the clock. We listen to coach and we execute.
And why do you think not every team is good at that? Why are other teams not as good? I mean, why were you able to have, I'll just give an example, why were you able to have Cleveland's number kind of late in fourth quarters? Why are some teams not good at that?
I think discipline, like I said, listening to your coach, executing down the stretch, free throws, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, we're coming up on our first time out here, so we're going to take a break. When we get back with Joziah, we'll talk about when he first stepped foot on campus at Atrisco, go all the way back to his freshman year. We're back with Joziah Ramos, the magician, we call him. Do you like that nickname? Adam kind of coined you the magician.
Yeah, it's kind of sticking. Salter Preety, our announcer at school, he's starting to call me that too.
All right, there you go. So we've nicknamed 2 of your guys.
Yeah.
Because I slapped Officer on DeMarcus, and that one kind of stuck, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to your freshman year. You first stepped foot on campus. What are your thoughts?
I'm thinking, there's a lot of good talent here, and I got to show out, try to get that varsity spot.
Okay, and take us through tryouts, take us through all that. What was your first impression of who else was out there trying out, and coach and staff?
Well, I've been watching them play, since I was in middle school, and the first thing we have to, my freshman year, we would have to run a mile in under 6 minutes, which I thought I could do, and I was able to, and it's just real hard with Coach Ortega. It's real hard.
How many people, do you recall, how many people got for basketball there at Atrisco? How many people went out?
Oh, geez, we always hate that first day of tryouts because everybody just comes and they make us run.
Okay. And then, so take us through your freshman year.
Like the whole season?
Yeah, well, I mean, highlights of it.
It was a difficult start. I wasn't playing as much, so I had to work harder and overcome those obstacles. Transferring was never a thought in my mind for me. So, finally, like getting into district, I had some games that were pretty good, and we had a good run, even into state.
And so at that point, did you kind of, at the end of your season, did you guys set any goals for the following year? Did you have a feeling that you guys had a good group coming back? Take us through kind of your end of the season. What does Coach say? What do you guys think?
Yeah, we have that. We lost to Volcano again in the semis, and that kind of stuck with us, and he kept that in our brains to remember that feeling of loss at the end of the season, and that we'll be back.
So your sophomore year kicks off. Talk about who's stepping into leadership roles at that point. What's the team dynamic at the beginning? What are your goals at the beginning of your sophomore year?
Our goals were like this year to just make it to state, get into the pit, and hopefully make a run. And we were all on the same page. We all had real good chemistry like this year too.
And when the tournament starts, I mean, I don't know, what seed were you guys last year? I don't even remember.
3.
So you guys go in as a 3. What's the mindset then?
Get through these first games, always one game at a time. And we almost took Santa Fe for granted that first round too. They could have won with a buzzer beater 3, but we got past that and we kept moving and we started playing together. We were able to beat Valley and then on to, who was it? Las Cruces in a double OT, and then on to Cleveland.
So you played Cleveland. Now, did you think, I don't know, where were you during the semis? Did you think you guys were going to face El Dorado at that point until that crazy ending to that game? Take us through that. Where were you watching that game, first of all?
I was at home. I was tired.
All right.
But yeah, we were, I don't know, that's crazy how they won, but we were expecting El Dorado. Our game plan was for El Dorado from the beginning, but.
So you get to the championship game against Cleveland, and all of a sudden there's your 1,000, 2,000 fans, and then there's all these extra fans that are now rooting against Cleveland, right? So what kind of environment was that?
It was real cool. I've never played in front of that many people until that time, up to that time. And it was all new for me, and it was great.
And you guys had a calmness about you, I felt, even at the pit, at the title game, throughout the playoffs there. Just, again, that same confidence, that same calmness. Was it just that you guys were that skilled, or is that more of the mental thing that Adrian had prepared for you guys for?
I think it was mental mental toughness, and also experience, because we were there, the year before that. We had a couple pig games in us, so we were ready for it.
And take us through what were you feeling when you won that first championship?
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I can't explain it.
What's the reaction you got from first the fans there on the floor?
They rushed the court, and then they had to get taken off the court because the game wasn't over yet.
What was the first reaction from teammates and Adrian?
I looked at Dom right away. I tried to go find him, and I just see Ortega trying to dab it up.
Oh man, we're gonna have to see if we can dig that up. Was Coach Ortega dabbing up? Really? I don't remember that. We'll have to try to dig that up, Josh, for sure. That'll make a top 10 play. Well, and then what's the reaction from family? Obviously, you have a huge support system. Supporting the community, supporting you. What's the reaction like from them?
My mom. I run to her. She's crying a little. She's so happy for us.
And then what goes through? I mean, you guys get back to school? What goes through? What's it like after the championship, right? Because that's when you start. You know, you do the assemblies, you do all this and that, right? So take us through that kind of post championship.
It's like easy. There's like you have nothing to do. It's a little boring at times, but you know that's when the off season comes and you get back to work.
Now, I would imagine an off season under Coach Ortega is probably not a summer off, right? So it's probably a lot of work.
Yeah,
Take
always.
us through that.
Well, you know, we start right away lifting weights and stuff, playing up and down every once in a while, and even running sometimes.
And I mean, are you guys still, since you're all such close friends, are you guys still pretty much together in the summer?
Oh yeah, we always talk all the time.
So do you think that helps if you guys are working out everything together in the summer?
It does a lot.
Okay. And was the repeat goal right away? When did that come in right after the first win, or did that not start till the next school year? I mean, when did you guys start thinking, hey, we could do this again?
I think it didn't start until we achieved our first goal, which was to get to the pit, and then we realized, you know, we could do this.
Okay. We'll take another time out here with Josiah, and then when we get back, we will go through that senior year. We'll talk about the early season when their chemistry started to really click. We'll go into the toughest district schedule out of them all, the toughest district, and then we'll go to those pit games like he talked about.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
I'm back with Joziah Ramos of the state champs, back-to-back, Atrisco Jags. Let's go through the season now. The season starts, and you guys absolutely just put the hammer down on Valencia. Right. I mean, how's that when you come out opening night, you put up 94? What is that for your team confidence?
I think it helped us a lot, especially because we haven't played with each other as much going into it, and you know, I think it helped a lot. You're
coming off a state tournament win where Jordan Arroyo really dominated inside, and now you don't have a post player like that anymore. So that has to be huge coming out on opening night and reestablishing that, hey, we're the champs for a reason, right?
Yeah, it was difficult to find a groove, you know, to get into without running our offense through Jordan, but we were able to find it.
Now, you go through the beginning part of the season nicely until you meet up with Las Cruces in the Belen tournament. Talk about that a little bit. That was your first loss. What didn't go right in that game?
You know, just defensive plays that we let them get to us. You know, back-to-back and ones that got momentum. You know, scouting report hit 2 back-to-back threes on us as well, and we just gave it up.
When did you guys have a feeling? What point did you start to click during the regular season?
I mean, I think we were always pretty good together. You know, sometimes we would just have a bad game.
I remember. I don't remember what game it was, but I remember we were doing a post game, and it may have been after I talked to you, but where I think I said, you know, these are still the defending champs. Did you guys think that enough people were talking about you during the regular year?
No, I don't think so at all.
And why were people sleeping on the Jags, do you think?
Maybe because Jordan Arroyo left. We had a lot of seniors leave. I think that might be why.
Take us through that Metro tournament loss to Cleveland there.
It was a close game, and it like the game in the semifinals this year. You know, it came down to one shot, and we couldn't finish it at the end.
It's a lot of this. I know a lot of this goes back to Coach Ortega, but I really think it's true. A lot of Adrian's teams, the day after a loss, the next game, that's not when you want to play the Jacks. It's coming off a loss, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what is your guy? First of all, what does he say during a loss that gets you guys so ready and dangerous the next game? And then what's your guys' mindset going into the next game? Because I don't remember Adrian's teams ever losing a lot of back-to-back games.
Well, that's one thing. They tell us that we don't lose back-to-back, so we try to keep that in our mind, and, you know, we just have it in our guts. You know, we don't want to lose again.
All right, so I'm going to take you through a specific game that I did, and the buzzer beater to go into overtime. So Brian O'Neill and I are doing that game. There's about, 3 seconds left. Brian says, hey, he's got enough time for 3 dribbles. That's exactly what happens. 3 dribbles. It's up in the air, and obviously goes in. Did you know it was going in all the way?
It felt pretty good. I wasn't, you know, it felt good. It came off my hand pretty good.
I mean, when you make a shot like that at that point, is the other team so crushed where you almost know you're going to win that game in overtime?
It's a lot of momentum, especially going into overtime, and if that were to happen to my team, you know, I just have to keep them together, you know, try to get the momentum back.
Now, you hit a big 3 right before that as well. I mean, you guys were out of range for a little bit, and you got them back into it quickly. What's Coach drawing up? What are you doing on the floor out there?
We're just trying to get back into it. You know, we're getting pretty open shots. Isaiah Brooks had a step-back 3 in that sequence as well.
And those games, I mean, what's the district opponent you look forward to the most usually? Do you have one, or?
I would say Cleveland. Those games are exciting.
Is it, and what is that? Is it because, you know, Cleveland, most people will say that's the most talented team, they have the most talent. Is that why people get up for Cleveland?
Yeah, probably. They're very talented.
They have a very great, good defensive player in Amir Mohammed. Who's the toughest guy you've gone up against one-on-one?
Amir is a really good defender. You know, I give him a lot. I would probably say him.
What about big guys? Is there any big guys that have? It seems one thing we noticed. It seems you're almost more comfortable scoring around big guys. Versus, you know, we'll get to the Santa Fe game a little later, but Santa Fe kids are your own size, right? But you're so used to playing against big guys. I mean, is that something that just happened to happen, or is that true? Are you just more comfortable finishing around big guys?
I think I'm pretty comfortable with it, and they might underestimate me at times and not expect me to shoot it maybe. But
is there a big guy that's given you problems?
The first time we played Cleveland, Jake, he blocked a lot of my shots more than I was expecting.
All right, what's the mindset now heading into the end of the season there? Obviously, you guys are in the toughest district. What seed were you expecting?
We were expecting a 4 seed.
And then the seeding comes out. You see the bracket. What are your guys' thoughts?
It looks tough, but we got our goal. We achieved our goal, and it's on to the next one.
Now, when did you find out about Cruces losing? Obviously that was a shocker on that side of the bracket, right?
Yeah, we were at Dion's after our game eating, and we couldn't believe it.
And chance of meeting Cleveland again. I mean, at this point, how comfortable are you guys playing the Storm? You got them a couple of times. You have to feel like you guys are the better executing team, at least in the fourth quarter, right? Or is that just something that I think of?
From what we've seen, even throughout the year with Volcano, close games, they tend to, you know, maybe not, I wouldn't say crumble, but they have difficulty, and we knew if we had it close, we might have a chance. So.
Okay, we're gonna take another time out here. When we get back, we'll talk about the pit. We'll talk about the championship more with Joziah Ramos.
Dreamstyle Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dreamstyle Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
We're back with Joziah Ramos. Now, everyone has their own pregame routine to get ready for games, but like, you know, you're kind of the best player in the state when you get ready for games watching Space Jam, right? And we got a shot of that.
Oh,
I mean, so
the Breakfast of Champions.
right there,
too.
Breakfast of Champs, right? Space Jam. Is that? I mean, what's going through your mind on game day to get you calmed down?
I'm just staying focused, trying to, you know, keep it what you do relatively to basketball, and that's what goes through my mind.
All right, take us through that when you run through the ramp and you see that just sea of people.
It's it's roaring in there and it's loud, but we love it.
The game gets going. It starts slow. You know, you guys, both teams miss a couple of shots, and then your buddy Dom comes in off the bench, and the flow comes because he hits all those threes. What's going through your mind at that point?
I'm thinking, thank you. It felt great. I felt so happy for him that he's able to get those.
Now, your game has really matured, and one thing I really admire about your game is that you seem to let the game come to you, and you didn't force. So when a good player, you know, I think it was 6 points at half, right? But it wasn't like you were being dominated anyway, or you weren't being shut down anyway, but you were just letting everything come to you. Talk about what you guys felt at halftime. What did you think of the game so far?
We thought we were doing pretty well. You know, Dominic was hitting those threes, and we felt that we had it.
Santa Fe opens up on a 9-3 run, and then you hit a quick, you start to heat up after that. You have a mindset that says, hey, okay, second half, and now I'm going to start to take over here, or does that just come naturally?
Well, I've had trouble with that, trying to get that all year with letting the game come to me, and it really just does come to you, and you don't have to force it. You'll get your shots.
Santa Fe, obviously, they kept answering. Talk about some of their game a little bit.
They're shooters, and they're real quick and fast and intense.
When DeMarcus grabs that rebound at the end, you go on the other end to shoot free throws. Is that kind of when you guys thought you had it wrapped up, or was there still a little bit of nerves like, hey, this is still a possession game?
Well, we knew free throws. If it came down to free throws, we were in good position.
Now, could you feel the pit, the rumbling of the pit? There was a lot of people there. There's a rumor that the ground moves when you're at the foul line sometimes when it gets really loud. Could you guys feel that?
I remember walking back on defense one time. It just, all of Santa Fe just erupted, and it was crazy. And
then, you know, you guys obviously you get the W. You're on the ladder, cutting down the net. I think we have a picture of that from your assembly. And how about Coach Ortega? He puts the pressure on you guys. There you are right there cutting down the net. He puts the pressure on you guys right away in post-game. He says, hey, we're not done yet. And you said that to Adam. We're not done yet. Talk about that a little bit. Is they just that confident?
We're confident, and some people call us cocky or whatever, but that's not what it is. We think we have a good group, and we think we have it.
Do you remember the first time Adam interviewed you as player of the game? Do you remember what you told him right before you guys went on the air?
They say it all the time, but I don't really remember.
You told him that, hey, you're going to be interviewing me a lot the next 3 years. You were right, man. You were right. Thanks for coming in, man. Good luck on that three-peat, okay?
Thank you.
That's the champ, Joziah Ramos. We'll be back with an all-new episode next week. Good night, everybody.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.